Good evening. Coming at you to give you a couple things on how to create unlimited leads for yourself. Creating a list of unlimited leads, as we know, is the number one most important key to success in Cutco long term. You know, anybody can be successful for their fast start or for their first month or for their first summer. Maybe you have a lot of contacts or, you got a lot of people initially to start off with. I was in the same boat too, but the longer I worked here, the more I realized that my personal contacts are very valuable, and I have a lot more than I thought I did. But I need to treat them properly, and I need to organize them properly, and I need to maximize them and exhaust my resources if I want to be successful long term. Over the 4 years of college, I ended up making over $125,000 in income, not each year, but over the 4 years combined. And I'm going to share with you a couple of principles and a couple of key concepts and hacks that I used in college to hopefully help you get unlimited amounts of leads and to always have people to call. So the first thing I want to say is I know how you feel. I know how you feel. You feel like you might not have as many people as you want to call, and you've already asked grandma, you've already asked grandpa, you already asked your best friends, parents for leads, and you feel like you could use more than you currently have. So I get that. I sold Cutco for 5 years when I was in college in my senior year of high school, and I always had plenty of people to call after I implemented these tips. So we're going to kick this off with a quick video by Mr. Tony Robbins.
Who here's ever failed? And no one raised their hand in the room. So I paused and I said, I know you're out there. I can hear your hearts beating. Who here has ever failed? And I demanded an answer, and then a few people raised their hand. I said, who here has ever failed? And now they started complying. So I said, great. When you failed, why did you fail? And they said all the things you said. Didn't have enough time, didn't have the right technology, didn't have the money, didn't have the contacts, had the wrong people. The people said we had the wrong leader, right? And then this voice in the darkness, the whole room was pitch black, says, I didn't have enough Supreme Court justices. And I looked down, and it's Vice President Al Gore, who you probably don't know much about American politics, but he and Bush Jr., they tied, basically, and had to go to our Supreme Court to decide who's going to be it, and he lost. And when he said that, we were in Northern California, which is all Democrats, would have been supporters of his. They all stood up and gave him a standing ovation when he said this. And when he stopped the standing ovation, I said, that's one way to try to explain why you didn't become president of the United States. But I wouldn't say it's an accurate one. And there was this pause, like, is he about to say? And I said, because let's just do this logically. Everything you people have told me, I didn't have the technology, I didn't have the right contacts, I didn't have the time, I didn't have money. Everything you've told me, I didn't have enough Supreme Court justices, those are resources. And so you're telling me I failed because I didn't have the resources. And I'm here to tell you what you already know. Resources are never the problem. It's a lack of resourcefulness is why you failed. Because the ultimate resources are emotional states. Creativity, decisiveness, passion, honesty, sincerity, love. These are the ultimate human resources. And when you engage these resources, you can get any other resource on earth. Resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. And if you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself a story because you don't have the money, you don't have the time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself where you would burn your boats. If you want to take the island, burn your boats, and you will take the island because people, when they're going to either die or succeed, tend to succeed.
Oh, love that video. Thanks, Tony. But it's true. Jeff Bezos right here, the owner, CEO, creator, president of Amazon, said life's too short to hang out with people who aren't resourceful. So that includes yourself. You got to be resourceful. So don't tell yourself, I don't have enough people to call. I don't have the right resources. I'm not from the right family. I'm not from the right area, because those things aren't true. You just got to engage your resourcefulness, which we all have. So first things first, you have to tell yourself, I am resourceful. Positive, encouraging, and incantation-like statements. I am resourceful. That's the first key to success in building a list of unlimited leads. You have to realize that saying, I don't have anybody to call. We've all said that. I've said that to my manager when I first started. I'm sure everybody listening to this has said that at one point or time. I don't have anybody to call is never a true statement. So here's the true statement. I have too many people to call. I've just given up on contacting them. Well, I've called them 5 times. They said call back and never answered again. You can call somebody 15 to 20 times before they're considered, not worthy of being called anymore. If somebody didn't want you to keep calling them, they would answer the phone and say, please stop calling me. If somebody answered the phone a year ago and said, call me back, and you haven't, that's on you. You're showing that you are punctual and you have good integrity if you keep calling them back because you said you would. So just because you called somebody 4 or 5 times, or they said, call me back later, doesn't mean you should stop calling them. Keep calling them until they pick up. Maybe you try from a different phone number. If they answer and say, stop calling me, stop calling them. If they answer and say they're not interested, stop calling them. But until that happens, it's a legit lead. You spend all this time getting leads. Don't throw it out the window before you know it's a definite yes or no. I have too many people to call. I'm just too scared to call them. How many people did you graduate high school with? 100, 200, 300, 500? What percent of those kids' parents could you call? 100%. What percent of those kids' parents are you comfortable calling? I don't know. Would you say at least 10%? Probably. You graduated 200 kids, that's 20 extra people's parents you could call. If you're like me when I was in college, at first I was like, well, what if they're home when I get to their house? That's going to be awkward. That's weird. Well, the paycheck isn't awkward. The paycheck's not weird. And if you can't sit in front of Mrs. Jones and show her Cutco for 45 minutes and because you're embarrassed that your friend might see you, like, you have some bigger problems, bigger issues to deal with there. Be proud of what you do and proud of the products we sell. They're the #1 rated kitchen knives in America, helps people eat at home. They never have to buy knives again. Be proud of that. And so don't be too scared to call anybody. I have too many people to call. I just don't have their number. Have you heard of the 7-step rule, or the seven separation rule of, anybody in the world through 7 people? Like, this person knows this person knows this person. So just pound the pavement. Hey, who would know this person's number? I don't have my teacher's number. Who do you know that has a parent that's a teacher? Who do you know that's a teacher? Who do you know that knows somebody that's a teacher? You don't have to explain what's going on, but let's say your best friend's mom is a teacher. Just call your best friend's mom tomorrow and say, hey, what is Mr. Stevenson's number? The teacher. You don't have to say why or what you need it for. Just, hey, what's his number? And she will probably give it to you. I have too many people to call. I just don't know how to call them. We have phone scripts in our training manuals specifically for how to call each type of person. Now, obviously not cold calling or telemarketing, but calling friends, family, neighbors, even if you've never met your neighbors, people from church, your friends' parents, old teammates' parents, excuse me. We have phone approaches. Ask your manager for how to call all different types of people. There is an approach out there. I have too many people to call. I just haven't considered them yet. Who haven't you considered as a potential person to call and show Cutco to? If they are married and older than 30 and they're in your network of people is most likely somewhere between 400 and 5,000 people. The average person knows 2,000 people by name and face. Maybe you just haven't considered some people. So you got to turn I can't into I can. Get that T out of there. Get that apostrophe out of there. You can get more people to call if you put in the work. And I'm going to show you how to today. You want more people to call? Here you go. So I would get out a pen and sheet of paper, pause this video along the way, and do this activity as I'm talking. Pause it along the way. So your first key, your first resource to use is your initial list from training. How many people did you have on your initial list? Did you have 86 people? Well, my guess is you didn't get a hold of all 86 of those people. So go back, find the 15, find the 20 that you can still call and put those on this new list. Go through your personal phone contacts. How many people can you find in your phone contacts? Older people that you can show Cutco, or friends that you could ask their parents for their parents' numbers. Recommendations that haven't said no yet. How many people are in your recommendations binder that haven't answered yet? Those are still good leads. How many people have answered and said, call me back? Those are still good leads. How many people haven't said no? Those are still good leads. Neighbors. If you go to whitepages.com, www.whitepages.com, you can type in your address, and then you can scroll down, click on neighbors, and it'll pull up with name and phone number of all of your neighbors. It'll only show up to about 7 or 8 doors down. So go in and act like you're the address 8 doors down, and it'll show 8 more. And do that until you get throughout the whole neighborhood. There's an approach for those. Those are mostly home numbers, so that's probably not your #1 key, but it's a resource. Past teammates' parents. How many sports teams have you been on? 4, 5, 6, 10 over the course of your whole entire life? You could call those teammates' parents. Hey, Nancy, don't know if my name rings a bell. I played Little League with Johnny 7 years ago. Logan, Franke, do you remember me? Yeah, I was hoping you could help me out with something I'm doing for school. Do you have like 2 seconds to chat? Awesome. That's an easy demo. Directories, church directories, country club directories, school directories, neighborhood directories. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to have that directory, and you don't have to be a part of that organization. Let's say your aunt goes to church at Pathway Church. Have your aunt go through that church directory and highlight everybody that she personally knows. Let's say your uncle's a part of a country club. Have your uncle go through the country club directory and highlight everybody he knows. Let's say your grandma lives in a nice neighborhood. Have her highlight everybody in that nice neighborhood directory that she kind of knows. That's a lot of people right there, and that's a huge resource. Teachers, professors, coaches, mentors, pastors. How many pastors have you had? 3, 4? How many mentors do you have? How many coaches have you had? 10? How many professors do you have? 6, 7 per semester. How many teachers did you have growing up? At least 20 to 30. One for kindergarten through 6th grade. Usually in high school, you have 6 or 7 periods. That's at least 30. If you include administrators and principals, that's 40 to 50. You could call all of those people. Hey, Nancy, Mrs. Smith. I don't know if my name rings a bell. I used to go to school at Homestead. Yeah. I graduated now, but I was calling because I was hoping you could help me out with something I'm doing for school. Do you have like 2 seconds to chat? That's an easy demo, guys. Specialists, doctors, lawyers, dentists, real estate agents. Well, Logan, I don't know any. I know you don't know any. Ask your parents. Mom, who's our family doctor? What's his number? Mom, who's our lawyer? What's his number? What's her number? Mom, who's our dentist? What's their number? Mom, who sold us our house? Mom, who do you get car insurance from? Mom, who sold you your car? Mom, who do you get health insurance from? Use these resources. Your parents know a lot more people than just the 8 people that hang out with every month. And then siblings, friends, parents. So if your brother or sister started working here, what would their initial list look like with their friends? You should call those people as well. Let's say your brother's 8 and he hangs out with his best friend, Johnny. Johnny's 8, but he still has parents, and those parents would still love to see your presentation. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, don't know if my name rings a bell. Logan Franke. I'm Joe's older brother. Yeah. He's always hanging out with Johnny. Yeah. I was hoping you could help me out with something I'm doing for school. Do you have a quick sec to chat? Easy demo. So that's you. Those are some things that you can personally do to build your list. Now, there are some other things that other people can help you do. So what I want you to do now is get out a sheet of paper and a pen if you don't already have one. Write down the name just the name of the top 3 to 7 adults that you are really close with. So for me, I have my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, and my Aunt Pam. I would say those 5 are the 5. For you, it might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 9. These might be family members. These might be neighbors. These might be best friends' parents. These might be family friends. These are people that if you were at their house, you're comfortable enough with them, you could go grab something out of the fridge without asking. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you're close with your mom on a scale of 1 to 10 to 10, these people are at least 9 or 10. Some of you might have 2, some of you might have 5, some of you might have 7. Write those down. Then your top 2 to 3 best friends that are your friends. If we'll get into that in a minute, but write those down. Friends that have been your lifelong friends. Well, I know I've already shown their parents. I get that. I don't care about that. Just write their names down. So now you should have a list of 5 to 10 people right now between adults and your best friends. And then what do you do with that list? I'll also include your boyfriend or girlfriend if you have one. Put them on this list. So here's the 4-step process on what to do with this list of 10, 11 people. Number 1, sit down with these people. Sit down with your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Sit down with your grandma, your mom, your aunt, your best friend. And you want to do this in person or over Zoom, face-to-face. It can be over the phone, but you want this to be a set-aside conversation, not just kind of like an in-passing conversation. I used to tee this up and with my parents, I'd be like, hey, Mom, I have something really important to talk to you about tonight. Are you going to be free for 10 or 15 minutes? And she's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, it's just really important. Like, I got to get out of here, but like, can you talk when I get home? She's like, oh yeah, sure. And then when I got home, she's like, what did you want to talk about? So like, she brought it up, so that was what I did. But that's number 1. Number 2, when you do sit down with them, share your goals with them. Maybe you have a winter break contest. Maybe you have a summer break contest. Maybe you just have, you want to rebuild your leads list. Share your goals with them. Whatever contest you're in, whatever you're shooting for over the next couple of months, share those goals with them. Number 3, tell them how they can help you. How can they help you? By giving you leads. So, hey, Mom, this summer I'm going after a scholarship with Cutco. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds big and bad and awesome, but I'm going after a scholarship, and that's going to take $50,000 in Cutco sales. I know you and Dad have helped out a lot with school, but, I want to kind of try to take a little bit of that stress off. I want to make $25,000 in income this summer, and that's my goal. And, last summer I sold 12, and I'm going after 50, and I really think I can do it. I don't need more people to call. I have a lot of people to call, but here's what you could really help me with. Whenever I have fresh list of people to call, it really helps kickstart my campaign, my summer, whenever I'm going hard and doing appointments. So if you could hook me up, Mom, with, one full sheet of 20 people or 30 or 40 people, that would really help me out. And I know initially right now you're thinking, oh, well, I gave you 11 when you started. I gave everybody, you have 70, 80 phone contacts on your phone. I don't want the people that are the 11 people you talk to every day or every week or every month. I'll give you a couple weeks to do this. So that's step 4 is give them rec sheets and give them time to fill this out. Say, Mom, I'm going to give you like a week to do this. And it would just mean the world to me if like out of your 80 contacts, you just wrote down like the top 50 who you're most comfortable with. Who's nice and married? That's it. Who's nice and married? You don't need to talk to them. Maybe you haven't talked to them in 20 years. That doesn't really matter. I have phone scripts for that, and it'll make it sound awesome, and they'll love you. And, I'm really professional on my appointments, but I'm looking to get 200 fresh leads by next Sunday at midnight. And so if you could get these done by then, that would be so awesome. If you only come up with 10 or 15, no big deal, but I'm going to give you 3 sheets. And if you could fill those out, that would mean the world. Do you think you could do that? Awesome. I really appreciate that. You really don't know how much this means to me. So you sit down with your best friend, your grandma, your aunt, and you do that. That's the meeting that you sit down with them and do. And with your best friends, it's just really, who are the 30 people they would have on their initial list if they started selling Cutco tomorrow? Have them write those 30 people down. And maybe your adults, your aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpa and mom and dad, they'll do it pretty easily if you sit down with them. But your best friends are like, oh, why would I do this? Maybe you incentivize them, buy them a $50 Starbucks gift card, a $20 Starbucks gift card. Say, hey, if I make 10 sales out of all these people, I'll give you, I'll take you to lunch. Like, maybe you have to incentivize your friends, but this should be pretty easy, especially if it's your girlfriend, people you know really well, and some best friends. So what's next? Just built my big list of people, and I got my leads. What's next? First, obviously, you got to get the leads, go through and get the leads. And then you got to organize the leads. We use an app called Q to organize our leads. Maybe use an Excel spreadsheet to organize your leads. Whatever you want to do, organize your leads, have them all in a row, ready to call back to back so that it's organized and in one place. And then number 3, learn the proper approaches for calling each type of person that you just got leads for. And that's step 3. And then step 4 is start calling them and properly taking notes when you call them. That's huge. If you don't take notes on the people that you call when you're calling them, you're going to be in the same spot you are now and not have as many leads as you'd like. So put an X if you've called them once, and then an X every time you call them. So if you see it as 7 X's, I've called them 7 times. If they say call back, put CB next to them. If you book a demo, put D. If they're not interested, put NI. If they say wrong number, if it's the wrong number, put WN. So take good notes next to the people you're calling. So in a month, or let's say you go back to school in the fall and you come back over winter break to sell, you remember what people said. So when you put CB in January, and Nancy told you to call her back in January, and then you put in parentheses, was on a trip to Cancun, wasn't able to do a demo. When you call her in January, it's like, hey, Nancy. Hey, it's Logan Franke. Don't know if my name rings a bell. I'm your neighbor, Charlene. I'm her grandson. Yeah. You were in Cancun when we talked last time. How was it? If you say that, she's booking a demo. So take good notes. And I understand, guys, you have goals. I have goals. We all have goals. And your goals matter. You wanting to earn a scholarship for college, help your parents pay for school, buy a new car, whatever you want to do, donate to a charity. Those goals matter. And so go out and get these 200 fresh leads, burn your boats, and you'll take the island, like Tony said. So go out and get the 200 fresh leads. That's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, comments, or things you want me to clarify, you can add me on Instagram or Facebook and direct message me. But other than that, have a great day.